All right, guys, welcome back to my channel. Today, I think I have a pretty good one for you. Where am I at, guys? You got it, the woods. I absolutely love being out here. And today what I want to do is I want to show you guys. Now, if you guys are anything like me, you love deer hunting and you love to be scent free and you love to do everything you possibly can to see that big buck or a doe or whatever you choose to hunt. So I worked at a store when I was young, and it was a hunting store slash hardware store anyway. And I talked to a lot of older gentlemen. I'm talking about really older. Like when I was 17 or 18, you know, these people were already 80. So I mean, they were a lot older than me, obviously. And sorry for the bugs. I'm sure you can see them. They would always tell me these little tips, and I took this one and I ran with it. And I'm gonna tell you, it's always worked for me. Now I kind of got out of the practice of doing what they mentioned to do, but this year I'm gonna get back into it. Now I'm more of a meat hunter than a horn hunter, but I do like seeing big deer, obviously. So let me show you how to make the deer really swarm to you and not even know you're there, almost invisible. So stick around, guys. So guys, for you, I'm bringing all of my deer hunting clothes in the woods so I can show you what I do. Usually what I do is I bring the stuff I need back to me. But for you guys, I am gonna do this for you. All right, so what I like doing first and foremost is I like to find the spot where I like to hunt the most. And most everywhere in Virginia where I hunt, it's hardwoods. There's a lot of mixture of pine too. I'm not gonna say I only hunt in pine areas, but if you do hunt in pine areas, then you need to keep that in mind when you do what I'm gonna do, because that's the main smell that you want in your clothes. Now, what am I saying? Let me show you exactly how to make your clothes completely chemical free and very scent free. Now, obviously, the first thing you guys want to do is to make sure your hands are not, you know, you don't have any grease on them. You want to make sure that you clean them. Also, make sure that if you do have stuff on it, you wear rubber gloves. If you're really hell-bent on scent, I'm going to tell you, you don't need that ozone thing, that what they sell, the ozonator, whatever it is. You do not need sprays. You do not need fabric softener sheets that smell like, because once you do this, it impregnates everything into your clothes, especially when you do it ahead of season. It's August the 26th right now, so we've got until October. Okay, the amount of stuff I'm going to put in my clothes will last for a long time, believe me. Okay, and if you do it, it'll do the same thing and you'll be really shocked. Like I said, I used to do this when I was really young. I quit doing it because I'm more of a meat hunter now. I don't really care about the horns. Obviously, if I have a chance to kill a huge buck, obviously I'm gonna take it. But anyway, without further ado, let me jump right on in here and show you what I'm gonna do very first and foremost and be done with it. All right, here we go. All right, I'll probably stay out of frame as much as possible just so I can show you guys, because the main thing that you want to do is see what I'm doing. So here it is. I use a trash can. All right, now this trash can, when I first got it, obviously it smelled like plastic. So what did I do? Well, I put a whole thing of baking soda in here. I filled it completely full of water and I let it sit for a long time. Dumped it out. I did the same thing again, and then I let it sit out for almost a year before I used it. Now I know that sounds a little anal, and it probably was, but this trash can, you know, replaced my old, I had a tote, and the tote did very good. Same thing, if you want to make sure it's completely, I mean, you're still probably going to have some, you know, smell of the plastic, but I can tell you that I don't smell any more. You know, if you go to the Walmart or Lowe's and you open a trash can, you're going to smell the plastic. But once you do what I told you, it will be almost scent free. All right, so what I do is, at the house I would, but since I'm in the woods, we'll do it out here. All right, now what I do is, in the very bottom of this thing, what I would do is I would put some leaves, okay? Now, another little trick that sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. This time I'm going to do it. I'll put baking soda in the bottom of your trash can or your tote, and it will help absorb the smells, and it'll be a lot better, believe me. So just so you know, I did this video yesterday. That's why there's a bunch of leaves in here, and you'll understand the leaves in a minute in case you saw the leaves. Yesterday when I did it, apparently the leaves were a little wet, and now my trash can's wet, so it is okay. I don't want to get any mold in here. Actually, I probably just use some of this toilet paper here that I got, because you can't go in the woods without toilet paper. Now, you shouldn't use the white, obviously, but commercial break. All right, we're completely dried out. So what I want to do now is I want to make sure, obviously, my clothes aren't wet. If they are, I'll leave them out. But what I like to start out doing first and foremost is opening my, and this is what I use. I use an 8 ounce, and I will use the whole thing in here. All right, we'll just sprinkle a little bit in here. This will obviously help draw some of the smell out, and this also smells like natural earth, supposedly. And I've been using it, like I said, for years, no problems. Next thing I want to do is I want to grab some leaves, some twigs. If I see any acorns or any moss that's not soaking wet, put it in here, okay? So let's go ahead and do that. And I just brought a hammer with me to dig, because some of these leaves are wet and some of them are not. So I definitely don't want anything that's wet. So these are not wet. And the sticks can be in there because they actually smell like, you know, nature. We're just gonna coat the bottom very lightly, because I want, you'll see why in a minute. We're just gonna coat the bottom very lightly with this stuff. All right, so with that in there, what we need to do next is start putting our clothes in. So what I like to do is put the stuff on the bottom that I know for a fact that I'm not gonna use right away. So in other words, in bow season, you know, it's not freezing cold, at least not here in Virginia. So I'm gonna put my heaviest jacket in the bottom, all right? And make sure it ain't wet. It's not. All right, now I like to leave it just as loose as possible, all right? And we're gonna put some more leaves on top of that. And we'll sprinkle some leaves. All right, if there's some acorns in there, that's great. If not, that's okay too. The next thing I will put in is my coveralls, because this is obviously cold weather stuff. And a lot of the times, not too much, but I used to always stuff my legs of my pants or whatever full of leaves too, you know, but I don't do that too much anymore. On this layer, I'll go ahead and I'll just take some baking soda and I'll put it on there so it looks like that. Now, there's no really wrong or right way to do it. I mean, you see what I did here. So, you know, once everything is said and done here, it will be so smelly and so woodsy smell that it'd be perfect. Now, at this point, what we need to do is we need to go get some green pine needles, because I want that smell of the pine in my clothes. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna take a branch and I'm gonna pull the needles off. So the actual branch will stay here. So I'm just gonna pull a big handful of the needles off. That's all I want. And I want green ones, I don't want the brown ones. It smells really, really good. All right, I'll get a couple more here on this branch. All right, that's pretty good sized handfuls, you guys can see here. We're gonna take them back and we're gonna put them in our clothes. All right, we're just gonna sprinkle them in here. All right, I'm gonna save some of them for later. Put them back down here. Now, the next thing I'm gonna put in here is obviously some more cold weather stuff. Like this hat, for instance, I'm not gonna wear it because it's very cold weather. This is a hand muff. I'm gonna put that in there, it's cold weather. All right, next I'll put my jacket in here. Now that jacket right there is kinda for bow early in the morning, then you take it off. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna put some more baking soda in here and some more leaves. All right, got another handful. I'm gonna go ahead and disperse these. Really don't care about if it's on there or not. I'm gonna go ahead and put the branches on. This will keep the smell in there really well. So another little tip, I brought a hammer, but I knew that the ground was too wet. you can take your claw, your hammer, and you can dig it, and you can put the dirt in here. Now, that is why I chose to use baking soda this go around versus dirt, okay? Because I prefer dirt, because obviously it smells like earth, but right now the dirt is too wet. What you can do is you can get dirt, take it in a bucket, set it at home. When it dries out, then put it in here. But for now, obviously I didn't do that. I put the baking soda in here, which that's all I really ever used to do with, and the leaves, and I never had any issues before. So, but since I don't have any dirt in here, because you probably can't tell, but the ground is really wet, this is what I'm opting for, is this 8 ounces of baking soda. Anyway, you put this lid on, and you take those 50-gallon trash bags, you put one over the top, one over the bottom, and then you tie it, all right? And I'm gonna tell you guys, your clothes will be so impregnated with the smell in here, you won't need to buy anything. And when you're done, put it right back in here. You can add more pine if you want to. You can add whatever you want at this point, all right? This is the base. This is what you guys can experiment with and just build from there. If you're only in the, pine forest only, then just get pine and dirt or pine and baking soda. Put it in there. You're done deal. Believe me, guys. You will not need to buy any more of that stuff that is on the market. God put everything here on this earth for us to use to benefit us. Use it. All right, guys, I have one more tip for you here on your deer hunting. And I do this religiously, and especially in the cool months, when the bucks are not chasing does and they're more wary of the woods. They're always cautious. So let me show you one thing that I always do in the hot, warmer months. And I don't know that it helps, but in my mind it does. So let me show you real quick. And before I tell you anything else, I do want to say this. I don't think that I'm Mr. Whitetail Hunter. I don't think that I'm the best deer hunter. I'm just telling you stuff that has worked for me over the years, and kind of got out of that routine of doing things. And I'm not really after no majorly huge bucks. I just love deer meat, okay? Technically, I'm just a meat hunter, but obviously if that big buck walk up on me, of course I'm gonna take him. Now, let me show you the tip. All right, what I would do every time I go in the woods, I would take a branch and I would just take my hand and rake it down and grab a bunch of these, and I would put it inside my hat like this, and then put my hat on top of my head. That way when the heat is going up, hopefully the smell from the pine will offset it and kind of make it neutral. And then I would take like a branch, just like this, I get a branch off, and I would rub my clothes on my arms, whatever it was, anywhere. And I would just rub all over myself. My legs, my crotch, especially my crotch, because you're hot there all the time, if you're a guy especially. Back of your neck, under your arms, everywhere. Just use as many as you need to, but always leave the ones under your hat. That way, you always have that smell. I'm telling you, 100% difference when you do all this stuff I'm telling you versus just going out and buying that chemical stuff. Now, I'm not saying the chemical stuff doesn't work and the scent away stuff, but regardless, I'm just letting you know that you can do all of this for free. All it costs is your time. All right, there'll be one more video in this little series, I guess, if you want to call it a series. All right, guys, there's gonna be one more video in this little segment, I guess, if you want to call it that, of how to make your own scent-free spray, so you don't have to go to Walmart or Bass Pro or wherever, Gander Mountain, wherever you buy your stuff at. You don't have to do it anymore. You can make it your own self. All it costs is a little bit of time. The initial setup will cost you a little bit, but you're already going to go and buy that crap at Walmart anyway for $9. So you can spend less than that, maybe. Depends on where you get it at. And you can have it for life, for free. All right, guys, I'm telling you, this stuff works. I've tried it, and it just works perfect, guys. And after you put your initial investment in, it's completely free after that. All right, guys, make sure you hit that bell button. Check down in my description. I've got an address if you want to send me anything, if you want to write me anything. Also, you can join my Patreon down there. I have links for discount codes to several different items that you may be interested in. All right, guys, if you like what you see here, like and subscribe. God bless, and we'll see you on the next one. Have a great day, guys.